Today's Academy Awards edition of Should I See It is brought to you by something that kind of looks like Ellen DeGeneres, comb-overs, boobs, introspective mustaches, quaaludes, cocaine, and shame-based Catholic adoption schemes. The 2014 Academy Award nominations are out, and as can be expected, they're full of love, snubs, overpraise, underpraise, token nods, and smoking bods. In the spirit of matter of opinion, who are you to quantify art distinctions? We here at Should I See It decided to pick from the Academy of Arts and Sciences unquestioned list an award who we think deserves the biggest pat on the back with our own coveted Should I See It Richard Sherman Award. Who's bringing home the Sherman this year? It's time to find out. First up, the award I personally care about the most, Best Original Screenplay. And the nominees are Eric Warren Singer and David O. Russell for American Hustle, Woody Allen for Blue Jasmine, Craig Borton and Melissa Wallach for Dallas Buyers Club, Spike Jonze for Her, and Bob Nelson for Nebraska. And the Sherman for Best Original Screenplay goes to Bob Nelson for Nebraska. This one came down to American Hustle and Nebraska. Blue Jasmine cuts narrative corners. Dallas Buyers Club is a little heavy on genre tropes, and Her's a bit underdeveloped. The thing with Nebraska is I think the screenplay itself is much more of a strength of the picture than American Hustle, where there's a lot of actor interplay and pacing and probably a bit of improvisation. My two other favorites, Short Term 12 and Inside Llewyn Davis, not nominated. On to Best Supporting Actor. The nominees are Barkhad Abdi for Captain Phillips, Jonah Hill for The Wolf of Wall Street, Bradley Cooper for American Hustle, Jared Leto for Dallas Buyers Club, Michael Fassbender for 12 Years a Slave. And the Sherman goes to Barkhad Abdi for Captain Phillips. All very good performances. Jonah Hill, Bradley Cooper, and Michael Fassbender were effectively playing cartoons. Leto was exceptional, but let down by the material. I thought Abdi was not only the best part of Captain Phillips, but gave the most nuanced performance of the five. Drop a Y and add an X. It's time for Best Supporting Actress. The nominees are Sally Hawkins for Blue Jasmine, Julia Roberts for Julia Roberts, Jennifer Lawrence for American Hustle, June Squibb for Nebraska, and Lupita Nyong'o for 12 Years a Slave. And the Sherman goes to June Squibb and Lupita Nyong'o. Yep, sorry, I couldn't pick between the two of them. Julia Roberts is Julia Roberts. Jennifer Lawrence was great, but felt a little out of place. Sally Hawkins, also great, didn't have too much to work with. Both June Squibb and Lupita Nyong'o stole every scene they were in. And even though I didn't particularly care for 12 Years a Slave, her performance was remarkable. Whip 'em out, boys. Best Actor. The nominees are Christian Bale for American Hustle, Chiwetel Ejiofor for 12 Years a Slave, Bruce Dern for Nebraska, Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club, Leonardo DiCaprio, The Wolf of Wall Street. And the Sherman goes to Sir Matthew of the McConaughey. Look, it bums me out, too, to pick the guy who was clearly screaming, "Give me an Oscar," but he is exceptional in this film. No slight to the other actors. It was a very strong field. DiCaprio probably being the weakest, but McConaughey just owns this movie. He is really, really good. There isn't one without him. Gird up the girls. It's about to go down. The nominees are Amy Adams for American Hustle, Judi Dench for Philomena, Cate Blanchett for Blue Jasmine, Meryl Streep for Meryl Streep, Sandra Bullock for Gravity. And the Sherman goes to Judi Dench. Was considerably tempted to go with Cate Blanchett here. Her performance is by far the flashiest, and I did just give Best Actor to McConaughey. But there's something so wonderfully complex in the simplicity of Judi Dench's performance in Philomena. No time for contacts. Best Director up next. The nominees are Steve McQueen for 12 Years a Slave, Martin Scorsese for Wolf of Wall Street, David O. Russell for American Hustle, Alexander Payne for Nebraska, and Alfonso Cuarón for Gravity. And the Sherman goes to David O. Russell. This one to me comes down to David O. Russell and Alexander Payne. Though the direction was one of the worst parts of 12 Years a Slave. Wolf of Wall Street's a little overstuffed and doesn't quite hit what the mark is. And Gravity, the spectacle carries the day. Between the two of them, I feel like the material was a little stronger in Nebraska, and thus David O. Russell had a bit of a more difficult job with what could have spiraled completely out of control, and also would turn out to be quite a delightful film. It's time to render everything else you've just watched meaningless. Best Picture. The nominees are American Hustle, Wolf of Wall Street, Nebraska, Captain Phillips, Her, 12 Years a Slave, Philomena, Gravity, and finally, Dallas Buyers Club. And the Sherman for Best Picture goes to Nebraska. Yep, there you have it. Personal preference, of course, as are all of these things. Nebraska meant a lot more to me this year than the other nominees, especially considering Before Midnight and Inside Llewyn Davis. Neither one of them were nominated. This was a fairly easy choice. On the Batman scale of film excellence, with The Dark Knight being the best and Batman and Robin being the worst, the Should I See It Academy Awards edition gets a Batman Forever. Pointless and easily forgettable.